What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Box. Today we're going to try something a little bit different. So being a huge fan of list videos, specifically gaming list videos, I wanted to try and make some of my own. I have made some myself, a handful in the past, but I want to try and make more of them. So today we're going to start with stuff that excited me from the recent announcements during the Summer Games events of this year. Obviously this is a hugely subjected list. This is purely the games I am looking forward to from the announcements. I'd love to hear what piqued your interest down in the comments below, so make sure to hit me up with that. And I've also only put 10 items on this list from what was announced. There is more that interested me, and it was pretty tough to narrow it down. But there is other stuff I am excited for, like Death Stranding 2, Metal Gear Solid Delta, the Indiana Jones DLC. But these are all things I was already excited for. Nothing they showed really changed my levels of excitement one way or the other. The 10 we have here are the ones I didn't see coming, changed my mind, or just elevated that existing excitement. So yeah, with all that out the way, let's get into the list. Xbox revealed fairly early on in their showcase what had been rumoured for years, really, their first handheld. It might be a little bit different from what had been rumoured, but this can essentially be boiled down to a handheld PC with Xbox kind of trimmings and tweaking and whatnot, but it does have me interested. There is more I want to know before I fully commit to it, the price being the huge one. But I'm hoping it will be a really nice machine for playing on the go here and there. There are similar devices already on the market that do similar things, but as a gamer who primarily plays on Xbox and has huge investment in his Xbox account, I can't help but feel cautiously optimistic about this one. This device is slated for holiday 2025, so hopefully we will know more soon-ish. But I tried to leave off any kind of DLC or update or whatever from this list and have just like fully fledged whole games, but I really couldn't ignore this one. As a huge 007 fan, I sat up at the prospect of a Bond themed Hitman mission, and it's out now. I reinstalled Hitman to play it for the promise of unlocking content for another game that we'll get to later on by playing it, which is really cool. And I hadn't played Hitman 3 since launch, 2021, and I've been meaning to go back, and this update is the thing that just finally pushed me, finally doing it. I had a lot of fun. You know, I mean, if you've played Hitman, you know how it works, right? It is a Hitman mission still. You've got all the kind of freedom of approach, you've got all the different ways you can assassinate your target, this time being the Chiffre. I personally managed to poison him with his eye drops, which was really cool. So there's all these little things, like they nailed Le Chiffre's character, I think. It was, you know, they've got Mads Mikkelsen back to play him, so that helps. There's all sorts of little like nods to the movie, specifically Casino Royale and other things. So yeah, I mean, if you're a Hitman fan, you'll love it. If you're a Bond fan and a Hitman fan, you will really like it, I think. And if you don't like Hitman but like Bond, you probably still want to stay away because it is a Hitman mission. It is a shame that this is a limited time mission, at least the elusive target version. I'm not really sure how the arcade ones work. Can you play those whenever? That would be nice. I don't know, but I assume the event will come back at some point, probably before or maybe to coincide with the launch of that aforementioned game that we'll get to. I mean, I know they do reruns of these things, so I would be shocked if they didn't for this one. But either way, it's out right now until July 6th if you do want to play it while it's here. And it's on everything that runs Hitman World of Assassination, including the newly released Switch 2. Pragmata, I don't know how to pronounce it, is a game that was announced a while ago now. It has been delayed a bunch. It was supposed to come out in 2022, I think. It was announced in 2020, I think. I could be wrong on that, let me know. It wasn't something I had any interest in until, well, this trailer. The trailer from State of Play showed us glimpses of gameplay and a little bit of story, and it's got that kind of glamorous, shiny, clean aesthetic that a lot of the kind of futuristic Japanese or Asian games tend to have, which I really like it. It reminds me of stuff like Binary Domain, and this game seems to be that kind of parent-child story, or, you know, protector child, older sister, you know, like Last of Us being the biggest example, I think, and that's maybe where it got popular. Plague Tale, and God of War 2018 being a couple more examples, but I mean, there's quite a few of them at this point, I think. But this time the child is a robot, or an android, it seems, and I'm sure there'll be all sorts of like trouble with AI and, you know, am I real or not type questioning, I would think, in the game. Some of the gameplay seems to be hacking related too, which personal favorite of mine, because makes me feel smart. Makes me feel smart hacking into things, even if it's just press of a button. Although I do like a hacking minigame. But so I guess in summary, it's kind of taken little pieces from a bunch of other games, and, you know, taken apart from that game and apart from this game, and like put it in a blender and something new came out, which I think is not necessarily a bad thing. You don't always need to be 100% new to be cool and new, if that makes sense. But yeah, for a game I had no interest in, they did an incredible job of selling me with this trailer, and I'm definitely keeping an eye on it now. It's apparently out in 2026 on Xbox Series, PS5 and PC. Hopefully it doesn't get delayed again. I mean, wow. I had never heard of this game before the Future Games show, and I'm sort of mad at myself and for not. As a huge stealth fan, this game should have been on my radar, and it is now. It is right there in the middle after seeing this trailer. And the gameplay of it is from an isometric perspective, so it might look kind of, I don't know, old, but the actual graphics still look gorgeous. So I really like that kind of combo. It should be something different from, you know, the mainstay third-person games we get now. So I'm really excited to see how that plays out. It's also inspired by 1900s Nordic cities, which is a really cool setting, I think. And it claims to be a quote-unquote narrative-driven stealth game. And I mean, if you could only use 4 words to sell me on a game, you'd be hard-pressed to come up with 4 better words than those, because that just sounds awesome. The gameplay has us playing as 3 different characters, each with their own abilities, as you would expect. But, you know, meticulous planning, strategy, and stealth are still the order of the day for all 3 of them. The story is set around Hannah and the mysterious disappearance of her brother. I don't know any more than that, but I assume we'll uncover some greater conspiracy along the way, as is often the case. And to put the cherry on top of this, it's coming out really soon. It's coming out July 15th, 2025. Thank you, Joseph Perez and the Hazelight team, for igniting a trend. Yeah. LEGO Voyagers looks to take that signature formula that those guys made with A Way Out, It Takes Two, and the more recent release of Split Fiction, and basically Legofy it. This game looks really cozy with puzzles to tackle with a friend as you each control a simple Lego piece that you can, you know, see in the trailer here. And you use that piece, you attach to other pieces to, you know, help solve the puzzle or build other things, it looks like. It looks like some very physics-based puzzles, which, I mean, I love a physics-based puzzler. I'm hoping maybe there are going to be some fairly brain-bending puzzles there. That could be really cool. And yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of the aforementioned Hazelight games. My eyes firmly on this one for a co-op adventure. It doesn't look, you know, It Takes Two, Way Out, and Split Fiction are kind of third-person action adventure type games, whereas this one is more of an isometric looking. I think Lego Builder's Journey was the same kind of aesthetic to it, which they made before this one, but that wasn't co-op. And it looks a lot cozier, less dramatic, possibly. So same trend, different vibe, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one, and it also has the Friends Pass thing that Hazelight brought with Way Out and It Takes Two and Split Fiction, and so getting a friend should be pretty easy too. Just invite them; they don't need to pay anything. But yeah, so that will be out later this year on Xbox Series, PS4, PS5, PC, and Nintendo Switch. Alright, after that last entry, we're going to have some tonal whiplash here, because we're going from that cozy, child-friendly Lego game to a game that is definitely not for the squeamish. This is another game I hadn't paid attention to until now. It's billed as a first-person action horror game, and that always makes me think of like the Fear series, which you know, they're really good games. And this trailer does show us glimpses of the gameplay and the environments. The monsters look insanely grotesque, the dismemberment looks ridiculously detailed, and they are promising a realistic physics engine too, which I guess probably goes along with that dismemberment system. I don't think this game is going to be like your pants scary. I don't think it's going to be the most comfortable experience ever. I'm thinking, you know, kind of like the Saw movies, where they're not really that scary, but they're definitely not. Yeah, I mean, hope you know what I mean anyway. And the mystery within the game does sound quite intriguing too, if maybe a bit cliche. It takes you to a dark fort taken over by a mysterious entity. So, again, not the most original premise, but as long as the execution is good, it should be interesting. There's no release date on this one either, but it is coming to the Xbox Series, the PS5 and PC. Do I need to say any more? I mean, we can just move on to the next one, right? Anyway, I guess we will talk about it. I am a big Resident Evil fan. My history with it is maybe not the most traditional. My first Resident Evil was actually Resident Evil 5, which is pretty late, I know. I think I might have seen my brother playing a little bit of 4, but that's about it. So 5 was my first real entry into the series. After that, I was able to go back to older releases with various like ports and remakes and things on, you know, more modern hardware. So there's a lot of backstory I don't know, and this trailer proved that to me once again. Having not played the Outbreak games, I didn't know who Alyssa Ashcroft was, although the name was ringing a bell for some reason. So was she mentioned in a different one game? I don't remember. But playing as her daughter should certainly be interesting, and returning to Raccoon City is very exciting. It's a very cool setting. Resident Evil 7 and 8 were both incredible games as well that I loved a lot, even if 7 did scare the absolute poop out of me. The gameplay is always fun in these games, and the stories are always like way more deep than you think it would be for just like a zombie flick. And the bait and switch in the Summer Games Fest reveal for this was really good. They had the dude show up like kind of halfway through the thing saying, "We're still working on Resident Evil 9, we don't have anything to show just yet." And then right at the end of the show, they showed us it. I thought that was pretty funny and clever. And I can't wait to play this. But thankfully, we don't have to wait too long. It does launch on 27th of February next year, 2026, for the Xbox Series, PS5 and PC. So here we are at the top 3. Xbox announced this game a couple of years ago now. And I mean, it was a kind of, you know, just an announcement CGI trailer. It didn't really kind of spark any interest in me at that time. But the Xbox Showcase this year, we got a pretty extensive look at the game in action. BioShock Infinite seems like a fairly obvious comparison to make, but the humor on display here has me more thinking kind of Fable vibes, with the kind of, you know, lightheartedness, not fully serious, but at the same time it is. I don't know. So that has me interested too. We don't often get a good light-hearted or funny game, so it's nice to see that change of pace here. And the creativity with the weapons as well looks really cool. It's almost looks like Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts or Zelda Tears of the Kingdom level of freedom, but with like weapon building. There was another game too called Mother Gunship, which let you build your own weapons and add modules and things. That was a really cool feature in that. So that's what that reminded me of. Anyway, I'm hoping it's cool. I'm interested to see how far you can take that stuff. The time travel stuff also looks insane. It looks to be promising huge consequences to your actions, which is mind blowing if it delivers on the promise. And if it does that, it will be something truly special, I think. The smaller time manipulation stuff with the little hand device in the gameplay, creating paths and you know, things like that looked really cool as well. It reminded me of Singularity, a wildly overlooked first-person shooter from back on the 360 PS3 that if you have the means to play it, I highly recommend that as well. But yeah, there's no release date for this one. The trailer just said in due time, but hopefully it's not too far off. It's slated for release on Xbox Series and PC, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this one come to PS5 as well at some point, if not launch. What do a soldier and a K-pop star have in common? They're both playable characters in Mudang 2 Hearts. I don't know if there's any other answer to that question, but this is one of them. This third-person stealth action adventure quickly shot up my list after being shown at the Xbox showcase, and if you made it this far in the video, you know why. Third-person stealth action adventure. I mean, yeah, stealth games have been fairly few and far between in recent memory, and I'm so glad to see them making somewhat of a comeback. This trailer for the game looks very glamorous and polished and like shiny. That kind of that look you get from like a lot of like Asian developers. Like Binary Domain is a huge example that always jumps to my mind when I think of that. And the gameplay we saw looks really promising as well. From sneaking around to shooting, I don't know if it's like a choice thing, like you can play it guns blazing or you play it stealth, or if there's like stealth sections and then the shooting sections, or what. So we'll have to see how that pans out. And but yeah, I mean, this was a lot lower in my list originally. It was still in my top 10. It was shortlisted for this list, but then before I recorded it, I saw a couple of outlets describe it as Korean Metal Gear Solid, which has just raised my excitement to fever pitch and shot the game way up this list. If it wasn't for number 1 on here, it would be a contender. The story also sounds really heavy in this one, dealing with the political climate of North and South Korea, which, yeah, pretty touchy subject, I think, as well as questioning what you believe to be the truth. You know, like, you grow up learning this is how the world is, but the ones teaching you that, are they to be trusted? Is it the truth? Is it not the truth? So, you know, we got stealth and we got a deep and complex and thought-provoking story. Should be a great time. The game looking gorgeous too is just a cherry on top. I will definitely be there when the game launches in 2026 for Xbox Series, PS5 and PC. And the winner for the most predictable number 1 in our list goes to... I mean, seriously, if you expected anything else from me, you are new here, and if you are, I welcome you to the channel. I'm glad to have you here. I hope you've enjoyed this video up to now. But anyway, I am a huge, massive Bond fan. I love the movies, I love the games, I even enjoyed 007 Legends and 007 Racing. Obviously not to the same kind of levels as your Bloodstones, your Nightfires, and your you know, GoldenEyes, but... So when 007, when IOI announced Project 007 back in November 2020, I can't believe it's been that long already, but I was immediately excited by the project. The Hitman games are so much fun, and back then I was thinking, you know, just reskin Hitman as Bond. That'd be a great game, right? Add a Bond story to it. Just reskin him, Agent 47 as Bond, maybe, you know, throw in, you know, the gadgets and stuff he has, you know, that kind of thing. And I would have been in love with that, I'm sure, and I was excited for that prospect. But for what we've been shown and what's been said about the game since its reveal as 007 First Light has just blown my expectations out of the water. They have said that while they are taking what they have learned from making Hitman, they don't want it to be a Hitman game, which I can appreciate. They want it to have its own Bond identity, while still giving players the freedom of choice that has made Hitman the success that it is. And that's just, it sounds amazing. The trailer itself, though, in my opinion, was perfection. The moment that On Her Majesty's Secret Service Bond theme kicked in, I literally got chills and goosebumps up my arms. It was awesome. It's been a long time since a game has done that to me. You know, I'm old and jaded at this point, but that trailer brought me back to being a child, and that sense of excitement that I have not had in a really long time. So that was amazing. Some interviews and such after the reveal, which I guess is cheating a bit because I was supposed to be talking about the trailers here, but some of that stuff has given us snippets of information to tide us over as well, such as there's a free-flowing hand-to-hand combat system, which sounds very promising, which you get glimpses of in the trailer if you're, you know, seeing him punch stuff. Gadgets, the freedom of approach, the driving, the beautiful locales, it's all shaping up to be something very special. And the freedom of approach is sounding incredible on it specifically, and will provide plenty of replayability too, from sneaking around to social stealth to kicking in the front door guns blazing. They have said, and I quote, "There are more options in this game compared to Hitman." And Hitman has like loads of options. Like, I can't think about how many options Hitman has. The fact that Bond has more options, wow. And the store listings for this game state we'll have modifiers we can use to replay missions with, to spice things up too. I was thinking initially, like, you know, skulls from Halo, but then after going back to play Hitman 3, I remembered the contract system where you can add like restrictions for how to play things like outfit and what you kill them with and things. So I wonder if it might be something more like that. That'd be really cool. But either way, the playground on offer here really is shaping up to be incredible. I've watched the trailer now more times than I imagine is healthy, and I cannot wait to learn more ahead of the game's release in 2026. I'm really hoping early 2026 so I can get out ahead of GTA, but that's just me hoping and dreaming. It will be on Xbox Series, PS5, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2. Please, please, please pull this off, IO. I really, really want this. So there we have it. That's the top 10 games that excited me during the various events that occurred over the past couple weeks of summer. There's so many games to show that I'm positive I haven't covered your favorites. So please let me know in the comments below what has you excited. And of course, if you like this video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content, hit the bell if you want to be notified of such things. And if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.